So you got a cheap guitar and you think it's doomed to sound bad forever. That is not necessarily true. There's a ton of things that you can do that are easy and relatively cheap to make your $300 guitar sound like $1 million. So we're gonna go through 5 of those things.
We like 5. 5's easy. It's my favorite number. We could do 20, but let's just stick with 5 that we think are core. Number 1, this seems stupid and seems obvious, but oh my gosh, we have people come in the shop all the time wanting to sell a guitar too, or like, my guitar sounds bad. Your strings, change your strings. Number 1, change them yesterday.
Oddly, it works on every price range guitar.
No, that's for use, but even for new guitars. Sometimes these guitars are shipped with cheap strings.
Really bad strings.
Like especially the off-brand stuff. You're getting some decent ones. You got Fender strings coming on Fenders, and you got some basic strings. But I'm even talking about one of my favorite guitar companies, Loudon Guitars. For years, their guitar strings did not sound good. They were Loudon strings, and I was furious because we'd have to take every brand new $6,000 guitar, cut the strings off,
immediately,
put elixirs back on there.
Yeah.
I've kept one set of Loudon strings on one of mine just for like over a year now, and it sounds okay. They've sort of deadened into a nice place now where I kind of like it.
Okay.
But it's I want that warmer sound on my little wee Loudon I have. But
it's like you said, when you put those strings on there, right? You want to try some things out. Like, don't just throw back on the same gauge and everything. Maybe sometimes a little heavier gauge goes a long way with a less expensive guitar. So let's say it's got really light strings like 9s on there. Try some 10s.
Sometimes the material like phosphor bronze might be your thing, or do you want to have pure nickel? Like, what is the sound that do you like coated? I like coated. I like coated everything now. That's sort of my thing.
Try it out. Experiment a little bit.
And you can demo them. Go to a shop. And most of the shops, I hope so, will know what strings are on their guitars. Like we pretty much
got a pretty good idea.
Put elixirs on almost all of our guitars. Yep. Once they come in, we let them settle for a week or two, they get restrung with elixirs usually. It's a very expensive process. Yeah. But it's something we do to make the playing experience more fun, the buying experience more fun, and the buying experience a lot faster, because you're going to want to have a guitar that has that. So just demo them. Now let's get into number 2.
You could always, because a lot of times if guitars are less expensive or cheap guitars or whatever, they're not set up great. They're kind of going through that quickly at the factory. Maybe it's been in a shipping container for however long.
Came from Asia.
It can't, so get that thing set up, and if you're not great at it, maybe spend the money and have like a pro set it up and really get it dialed in.
And if you don't have a pro do it, you can learn a lot of these basic tools yourself.
Yeah.
It's just adjusting the saddles on the electric guitars. Is not that hard. It's just your little Allen wrench goes in there, find it, keep the radius going as much as you can. You can sort of visually see it. Remember your turns. It's not that hard.
Yeah, because if you're playing a guitar and the intonation's not good, like it's not in tune in different places, like really badly, it's gonna sound bad. It's just
not to me, but to most people.
You're the exception. You're the strange exception.
I'll think about it.
But you're gonna think, man, my guitar's horrible. It sounds bad. Well, it sounds bad because it's out of tune. So if the action is hard to play and you can barely get the strings down on like, especially on an acoustic, you're gonna be like, man, this guitar sounds bad. But really, maybe it just needs the nut height adjusted, or like I said, the intonation set.
Yeah.
So check out all those things. Maybe have a pro check on it. If you got a bad setup,
an inexpensive guitar can sound like a $3,000 guitar.
Yeah, man.
It really can. It's really neat. So the setup is huge. Get it done, and learn how to do it yourself. Save yourself some money. Number 3 is one of my favorite things. Jonathan, get into it.
Adjust the old pickup height and maybe the pole pieces, depending on. This obviously is for electric guitars. It actually could be for acoustic electrics too in some scenarios, right. But mostly electric guitars. Too low or too high pickups, usually too high, it can be really bad tone results. So,
and sometimes they'll be sort of Strat in particular cantilevered all over the place, and you'll see that sometimes it's great. You'll sort of notice it's hotter towards the treble or hotter towards the bass in this one,
and sometimes you want that.
Sometimes you don't though, and I'm like, what were they thinking when this left the factory? I'll say sometimes.
Well, and again, if it's been in a shipping container coming from Asia, there's a chance it's been beaten around and moved, right? You can't really mess this up, right? Don't be afraid to experiment. Most of them are just a tiny little Phillips screwdriver.
You're not going to ruin your guitar. And this is where a $60 guitar pickup can sound like a $300 custom set if you get it set up right.
Yeah,
and sometimes I like some of the more inexpensive pickups better than the more expensive ones. Sometimes, like the Silver Sky is a weird example of PRS. I really like the Silver Sky SE pickups. They sound really stratty.
Yep.
The Silver Sky Core sounds great, but it doesn't sound like a Strat to me.
Yeah.
It has a different sort of tonality.
Right.
So it's so you might have an ear preference on that too. So
don't get caught up in what you think, how close or how far away the pickup should be. Even the base specs are just like a starting point, right?
Yeah, don't let that be your goal.
Use your ears, and then sometimes it is hard to get them balanced. If you got a little home recording rig and you can mic the guitar, have it going straight in, and you can see the little waveforms, like when you're recording in GarageBand or Pro Tools or Logic, that's actually a really cool way to get.
Or just ask your girlfriend what she thinks. She'd
love
to go through this for hours with you.
Very strong opinion. No, honey, that sounded a little bright. Maybe you should bring that treble side down. No.
Number 4, this one is vital for electrics and acoustics and is often overlooked and can be the biggest factor in a warmer, more sustain-rich, more in-tune guitar. It's the nut.
It's the nut.
It's all about the nut. Swap that nut. Get a bone nut on there. Get a tusk nut on there. Get a brass nut if you want to, but get rid of that cheap plastic one. It's doing it no good.
Bone.
Yeah, get something.
Bone it up.
Tusk works great too. There's Micarta.
Fine, whatever.
It's
fine.
I know you're
Bone's better. I mean, whatever you want to do. If you want to go from bad to a little better, fine.
Yes.
Or you can go
sometimes
to the best.
Bone's expensive sometimes.
I know it is. But bone's great though.
That is one of those things you can do, and you can get a pre-fit one, pre-cut.
Yep.
You can go to Luther and have them make you a whole new one too. That's more expensive, obviously. It can end up costing you $100 or so, just depending on your luthier. But you can get a good one and get it done. That's huge. It really affects this, and having it cut right affects string breakage. It also affects intonation some. It affects that little, when you're tuning, you hit ding, ding. That thing drives you nuts. That's your nut. It's in your nut almost 89.643% of the time.
Yes, that's true.
Probably more than that.
Exactly right. But it's got to be the right material, a decent material, and it's got to be cut right. So could be, both things are important.
And that's why maybe your strings are breaking too, like nut and saddle is often, and also like picks, like just check your picks. That sort of fits in there. If you're breaking strings a lot, it's often the sawing of that string with your chewed up gnarly pick. You gotta throw your picks away sometimes.
It's all true.
I've been using on my acoustics a honey pick lately though, which is really weird for me.
Yes.
I know, it's like I don't want to get into this expensive pick world. It's really frustrating.
Next thing you're plugging pedals in.
I did buy a couple bass pedals to try again. It's not it's not fuzz. It's something. It's got some compression and stuff. I just want to see what it does.
I like compressors.
And then we'll sell them in the shop if I don't like
I
it.
think bass needs compression.
I just want something to make the bass last longer. We'll see.
But,
we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a pedal-free guy for the rest of my life. That's just how it's got to be. Number 5. This one's two-tiered. It's two-tiered because it's so important. Now we're getting to the electric guitars one more time for your finale. So if you're an acoustic guy, you can sign out and check out. Again, I mentioned it earlier this week. Watch Mr. In Between, but let's get into it. Tone pots.
Tone pots.
Tone and volume pots. Your switches. All the internals there. You can change those. You can take those out, and they're not expensive. They're really not expensive.
Even the really good ones are not expensive.
You might spend dollars on this. Dollars and dollars. Yeah. Now, having someone do it's a little bit trickier. You got to have somebody that can solder and take things in and out. But it's this can dramatically change your guitar.
Like people think it's all pickups sometimes, and a lot of times it's the wiring. And then suddenly, if you change to good pots and switches, then the tonal difference when you actually roll the volume down or you roll the tone down makes a difference. Because sometimes pickups don't sound the best like wide open. Sometimes you want to roll it off a little bit.
No,
or you want to bring the tone down.
And I'm a wide open player most of the time. I really am. But I play really softly a lot too. I'm a dainty, soft little ballet dancing sprite across the stage. But but there is something about the tone. Let's talk about strats. Tone of strats, people don't use them a lot, but if you get in that position too, and you can drop the tone a little bit on the bridge or the middle of it, and you have a high gain, it sounds great.
I actually love the bridge on a Strat with the tone rolled off. I know people hate on Strat bridge pickups all the time, but
they're weird people.
Well, you just got to tone down a little bit. Same thing on a Telly, and I have become, I've heard people say this for a long time, older players, that Gibson stuff actually sounds better with both of the tone and
pull
the
down a
volume
bit.
down a bit. And I have kind of come to believe that.
God, it's weird.
You know.
I know. I think there's some truth to that. Or like I talked to some of my strange friends. I'm not going to say their names. Ryan, that doesn't like to use the middle pickup on a Strat. It just baffles me. I'm going to get him to use it eventually. Yeah, if he's confused about which Ryan.
I like the middle pickup.
He plays in a German Oompa band too.
I used to play in this
I wear his
jam.
polka shirts a lot. Sorry, I'm just going to go off on a tangent.
fine.
I'm giving his whole secret
Okay.
identity. Bruce Wayne. It's Bruce Wayne.
You'll like this though. I used to go to this blues jam when I was really young, and I had a Strat in Charleston, and there was a guy there, really awesome dude who was British,
Ooh.
and he always called me Middle Pickup Johnny.
Oh, really? Because you live in the middle?
Because but it would be because we, like, you go in and you're using their amps, right? And there was no real pedals, and you have to find a way to kind of like have a
Push.
different tone. And so I would just live, and the bridge was too bright in that scenario.
Yep.
And so I would live.
And everyone else
is
is on the neck.
And everyone else is on the neck.
And
it
everyone's
would
in
make it
position
jump
4
out.
or neck. That's where
right.
everyone lives.
That's right. So I'd go to the middle, and I always thought it sounded cool.
I learned that from Richard Lloyd. I think he used the middle a lot back when I was playing with him, and I was like, well, that really cuts through in a unique way.
There is some rumblings that maybe Layla is the middle position tone.
God, that would make sense.
That was a Chris Buck video. I don't remember, but I think so. There you
Yeah,
go.
so don't let your wallet or the size or lack thereof stop this pursuit of a great guitar.
Yeah.
There's so many great guitars out there at affordable prices.
That's right.
Fender's been knocking it out of the park with that lately.
Yes.
I mean, they've ever since, the Squiers are great. If you can jump up the classic vibe, it's the jam. The players are great. The Player 2 modifieds around the corner, out now maybe by the time of this video. Amazing guitars at a reasonable price, sub $1,000.
That's reasonable these days. It is what it is, folks. Talk about it in the comments.
That's a whole other video. I don't know. Don't you remember when the $1,000 guitar was the guitar? Like that's the most expensive
when I thought
Fender you could get.
I can remember being like a teenager or kid and thinking a $600 or $700 guitar was like, damn,
that's all. I mean,
like that's all I want with my little Squier I was playing at the time.
What university?
And $1,000, like anything, just any American standard would have been like.
I remember the purple glitter Yamaha I had with like the black painted neck and like had the pointy headstock, and every time you did the whammy it was like ding 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 ding. You'd hear like things dinging inside of it and on the top, the nut, little things you could have done to fix it. I didn't know. I was a teenager.
You know what? When we do videos like this, I think about guitars that I've had in the past that I had things like that wrong. That I had just at the time I just traded it or sold it because I was like, this guitar sucks. And it turns out most of those guitars could have been awesome. Or at least a lot better.
Yeah, I've done that too.
Some of them I wish I kind of had back.
That's why I've fought with some people. It's like they're like, I just don't like the guitar the way it feels. I'm like, just let me set it up, or let somebody set it up for you, and I bet you'll like this guitar. And it's not even a guitar they bought from us. I just want them to not sacrifice it to the loss of selling it. Because besides losing a guitar, you're losing some money on that. Usually it's not a net win.
It's true.
But I think that kind of wraps it up. So if you have more ideas on how to make your thing better, share them in the comments. Please do.
Drugs. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean,
I'm mostly kidding. That's it.
like kids don't buy drugs. Become a rock star and people give them to you for free. That came from one of my favorite movies, Love Actually. But it's also true. You see it. It's like rock stars don't pay. Then they get the Grammys and stuff. The movie stars, they get these like thousands of dollars worth of swag.
A little bag.
It's crazy. No, it's just have fun. Like have fun modding them. Dig into the guitars. Don't be afraid. Like pop that neck off if you need to. Don't be afraid to switch the pickups, switch the pots, switch the switches, change the tuners.
Whatever you got to do.
Affordable guitars are meant for that, and it's part of the joy of it. It's different than affordable guns. They might blow up in your face. Guitars just don't, and they're cool. Click like, subscribe.
Hit the bell.
Have fun. That's Jonathan. I'm Baxter. We're here at Casino Guitars. Signing out. Peace be with you.